You found out that you're a manifesting generator in your human design, and suddenly you are hit with a bunch of questions like, do people think I'm confusing? How am I supposed to manage 3 businesses at the same time? Are people going to understand what I am offering? Is my life too chaotic? How can I actually start something that I finished? And all of these questions are super valid. And by the end of this video, you will have an answer to every single one of them. Because one of the most important things for you to understand as a manifesting generator is that because you are here to create a new path, you have nobody to look up to. You have nobody who has walked before you or have been in your footsteps. So it's really hard to have a person of reference. You need to build an incredible self-esteem. You need to be incredibly strict with your boundaries and have incredible discipline when it comes to the mental chatter in your mind if you want to be a disgustingly joyful, satisfied, magnetic manifesting generator. And my beautiful manifesting generator, I am here to help you get there. So watch until the end of this video to understand how you can use your energetic authenticity, embody your highest self, and create a life even more exciting than anything you could ever hope for. Welcome to the Human Design Portal, your safe space to decondition so that you can align with the right people, opportunities, and chances. If you're new here, my name is Maika Gabriela, and I'm a human design reader, a deconditioning expert, and the founder of the Transformational Human Design Certification. And if you subscribe, you will receive every single Sunday a beautiful video where I will share in the most tangible, easy to understand way a little piece of information, advice, or knowledge around energetic authenticity, human design, and all things personal growth. Today, I'm going to discuss with you 4 different steps that I want you to take yourself through every single time you want to start a new project, you have doubts about where you are right now, and you are in those rabbit holes that are kind of like bringing you down on a downward mental chatter. And so the number one thing that we're going to talk about is action. Action, as I've said 1 trillion times on this fantastic YouTube channel, is the key to success. It is the universal law of success. There can be nothing manifested in your life if there is no action. Number 1 we're going to talk about is action. Number 2 that we're going to talk about is all about understanding perception of self and how you're wasting your energy on analyzing how you are perceived by the world. Number 3, we're going to look at boundaries. Setting boundaries is incredibly important for your self-worth and is one of the determinants of your reality. Every time that we allow a boundary to be crossed, our reality becomes a little shittier. And I know this sounds dramatic, and I think boundaries are really freaking hard, especially if we have people-pleasing tendencies, which most manifesting generators will have because you have that generator sacral. But I'm gonna give it to you raw, and you know I'm doing it because I love you, and I need you to be glowing and magnetic and radiant and conquer the world with the glory of your soul. And number 4 is going to be very simple and very easy. I'm gonna call it raw dogging life, okay? And I'm not even gonna comment on it because I wanna tell you at the end of this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing we need to address is like, why do you even need high self-worth? Why do you have to be disciplined with yourself? And when I say disciplined with yourself, there's a big confusion because in human design, we have an aspect of our chart that is the arrows that might be called or translated to being undisciplined. Again, if you have an undisciplined arrow, it's nothing negative. It sounds bad because it's like the teachers being like, you're not disciplined, but it is not bad, okay? It is a different way of operating that is reliant on your passion versus on your mental capacity to be strict with yourself. But there's still something very important to say about the discipline that you have with yourself. This is about how strict you are with your own standards. This is about knowing your values and adhering to them no matter the circumstances or the consequences. And this is what makes somebody truly magnetic and makes somebody truly in their power. When you know exactly what you stand for, when you know exactly what you want, and this is crucial. This is crucial. You cannot go into the world, you cannot start a project, you cannot start working and being like, let's see where it goes. Yes, of course, there's an element to anything in our life that requires us to trust, to surrender, to allow magic to come into our life. But that is very different than being like, I don't take responsibility, I don't really show up, I don't have clear direction. Well, we'll see what happens. Because when you are not clear or where you want to get to and what your values are, you can get corrupted. You can get persuaded. You can get influenced. You can get manipulated. You can get distracted. There is so much shit happening in the world, ladies and gentlemen, that we really have to become incredible sovereign humans that will not allow people to mess with the essence of our soul. And so for that, you have to know where you want to go, who you want to become, and what are the values that are important to you. Because interestingly enough, this for me is crazy. It's crazy for me to watch society and see how values change with trends, right? So a while back we had the Black Lives Matter movement. Now we're having last year, a couple of years ago, we had like the old money movement. And the old money movement was very whitewashed, was very like blondish, blue-eyed, whatever. So it brings a contrast into society, but it also then changed the values. It changed, for example, I work a lot with people who work in fashion and in the entertainment industry. So there's less emphasis on inclusivity. We've had this with body positivity as well. We had a body positivity movement, which is when I started my sustainable underwear brand. And now we're doing Ozempic. I mean, I'm not doing Ozempic. I'm like eating healthy and going to the gym. But people are doing Ozempic, and super skinny is back in. And, your 30 grams of protein. Let me know how many 30 grams of protein is in marrying the love of your life. That's a meme I saw the other day that I thought was so funny. Anyways, so number one, dear manifesting generator, I need you to freaking do it. Stop overthinking it. Stop analyzing. Stop rationalizing what it is you want to do. Throw yourself into it. You will know if it is the right thing for you to do or not, if you're excited, if your body's lit up, if it's giving you energy, if it's fascinating you, if it's drawing you in, if you want to jump right in. Those are all signs that your body's on board. Those are all signs that you need to listen to, that is the correct thing. If you are doing something because your parents want you to, because you hope that if you do it, then you will make more money, because it makes sense, because if I calculate and I study this thing in like 9 months, then I will be able to apply. No. That is going to bring you pain. That is going to ruin your energy. That is going to drain you from your joy. Okay? So the tell-all sign when you're doing what you're meant to be doing is that you're excited and you're lit up. And this is incredibly important. First of all, dare to do it. I know a lot of manifesting generators who are afraid to step out of their comfort zone. I know a lot of manifesting generators who are afraid to use their voice, and then you'll have problems because the tension will be pent up in your energy center of the throat. I work with a lot of manifesting generators that are afraid to do more because they're afraid of what people will think. And this is going to be step 3, okay? But we're not there yet. So my recommendation is get crystal clear on where you want to go, get crystal clear on who you want to be, and then act in accordance with the values this future version of you has, and just freaking do it. Don't think about what other people's opinions are. Don't think about, I'm not saying be irresponsible, okay? I never want anybody, I'm such a responsible person. So when I say these things, for me, I would never risk it financially. I would never get out of my depth. You have to feel safe to a certain degree, but some delulu also works, right? And that is where personal responsibility and sovereignty comes from. It comes from being an intelligent person who has the ability to gauge their own perception of what they're willing to sacrifice to get to where they want to go. Number 1, just do it, okay? Do the thing. Don't worry too much about other people's opinion, or if it's too much things that you're doing or how you're gonna. Just focus on following what lights you up. Dare to do it, and do it with integrity and in sovereignty. Number 2 is so important to raise your self-worth, and that is really becoming incredibly strict and sovereign around, and I know I'm using these words a lot, but I'm obsessed with the word strict. I love when people are strict with me. I am very strict with other people. I always thought that it was like my spleen being cold and tough, which it probably is. But I realized that strictness, boundaries, are our protectors. They are what are keeping us safe. They are what are keeping us in integrity. They are what is keeping us accountable for ourselves. And so if we are like, oh, don't worry about it, I understand, or like women, my new favorite meme, I'm full of memes, I'm telling you, I'm full of unposted memes. I'm full of unreposted memes. The feminine urge to know why, Guys, if you would know, if you would know, ladies and gentlemen, if you would know how often I ask, but why? The truth of the matter is it doesn't matter why. The only thing that matters is the action that has been presented and your reaction to that action. And you can either accept shit, or you can put a boundary and be like, I don't need to know why. I just need to see how this action has made me feel. I just need to observe how this action has impacted negatively my life. You are out. Thank you. Next, please. Right? And so being incredibly strict is great because it creates sovereignty around yourself. But the reason it is so important for you as manifesting generators to be strict with your own thoughts. Nobody cares what you're doing with your life. Even if they're meddling, even if they're nosy, even if they're like commenting, even if they're jealous, even if they're haters. Let them haters watch you live your best freaking life. Prove them wrong. Use it as fuel to prove them wrong. Me with my defined ego, that's what I do. So the reason this is so important is because you should not care what the neighbors think. You should not care what people think when you show up on social media and you think you're cringe. You should not care if you're doing like a 10th job. You have to be absolutely rooting for yourself. And when I mean rooting for yourself, what I mean is that you have to stand behind your soul's desire and your heart's hunger. That is a non-negotiable. We get one freaking life, at least in this experience. I do truly believe that there's probably a trillion other lives waiting for us. But in this lifetime, with this body, in this experience, the way that it is presented to us right now, we get one freaking chance and you better make the most of it. And you do not want to be on your deathbed being like, oh, Sally, who used to live next door, who I've never heard from again in the last 56 years, didn't like my outfits. Who cares what Sally thought about your outfits? Go live your best life and be strict about the mental chatter. Every single time it comes up and you're like, oh, you know, the biggest thing about manifesting generators is that you fear that other people will think you're chaotic. You fear that other people will sense that you have shame around your curiosities. You think, you worry, you waste your energy on how you are perceived from the outside. And it doesn't matter how you're perceived from the outside if you're deeply anchored in your values, your truth, and what you're here to fight for personally, for your soul and your hunger of the heart. Who cares what other people think if you are doubling down on what your soul truly wants? And sometimes it's not clear because sometimes you think it's red and then you're like, oh, it's pink. And you're like, let's double down on pink. Red was not the thing. And it is okay to experiment and it is okay to try. And it doesn't mean you don't have grit. And it doesn't mean that you don't have character. And it doesn't mean whatever society wants you to think it means when you start something and you don't finish. Sometimes when you start something and you don't finish it, it's because what was learned in that time period was what had to be learned. Most manifesting generators that I've talked to, oftentimes you go back to the thing that you started and you didn't finish. And you're like, oh, let me go back to that. So the only one that has doubts around how they are perceived is yourself. The only one that has doubts that people won't understand your offer because it's too many things is yourself. Be creative, find a way to package it. This is marketing. This is pure marketing. This is not your worth. This is not your value. This is not what you have to offer. This is not your unique soul's imprint. This is pure marketing that you're stressing about. Stop stressing about the integrity of who you are as a person and figure out how to market it. Okay? And that's that. Stop being dramatic. Stop wasting your time, and every time you hear that mental chatter, you turn it the F off. And this requires practice, this requires discipline, this requires emotional sovereignty, where you do not feed the anxiety, where you do not feed the low self-esteem, where you do not feed the fear, the doubt, where you are rooted in yourself, where you trust yourself, and where you stop listening to the BS your mind is trying to tell you when you're pursuing something that is in integrity with your soul and your heart. This is your guidance. Your sacral is your guidance. The true essence of who you want to become is your guidance. This is really important because you love a lot of different things, because you love to start things. And I really think like this is also interesting. And I'm sure there's some males out there who are like, no, I'm like super logical. But I do feel like most of you watching, because of my aesthetic, because of who I am, because of the sensibility that it requires to be spiritual or conscious or curious, there is something about you that probably has a more of a creative heart and a creative soul. And so one of the things that I've experienced, if we're looking at, this from somebody who is starting a business or wants to have their own business as a manifesting generator, is that you're probably going to be like me, and I am a creative entrepreneur. I'm learning, I'm putting myself through it, but I'm not particularly passionate about KPIs. I'm not particularly passionate about numbers. I want to start shit. I want to be creative. I want to think about the amazing, like in real life event that I could throw if I would have the resources to, like, I'm a creative at my core. So I can get bored really quickly with scaling things. What happens with every business is that there is a spiral, and you can either go down and quit, or you can go up and up level and start making real money. And so as a manifesting generator, I want to use this analogy because in life, in relationships, if you have your business, there is a moment where shit's gonna get hard. Life gets hard. I don't know whose spiritual BS you are consuming anywhere else. I'm here to tell you, life gets hard. And it doesn't matter how much you're like wooing shit away. It doesn't matter how much positive thinking we are doing. It doesn't matter how much manifestation we're doing. Life will get fucking hard. We deal with it. It sucks. It hurts. We cry ourselves to sleep, and you better be a baddie and get up the next day and do it all over again, okay? That's what we're here for. And so what will happen is you will have excitement. Your sacral is like, oh my God, this is the thing that I've been waiting for. This is the thing that I'm ready to commit. And then there might be doubts. Somebody will make a comment. Suddenly there's resistance. Fucking planets are like driving us mad. If you'd know how mad this Mercury retrograde is getting me, like you have no idea how often I've recorded shit without audio. I'm just checking that the audio is still working. There will be resistance because resistance proves to you what matters. Resistance allows you to grow. Resistance, obstacles, issues, heartache, struggles, financial instability, personal shit that keeps happening in your life. All of these things are helping you grow and become the person that you desire to become. All of those stepping stones, they're breaking you open to be able to receive more light, more energy, expand. Pain has an intelligence. That intelligence is to break you open, to be able to receive more, okay? But we are not used to pain. Humans do not like pain. We're like, no, I prefer to run the other way. This is too painful. I don't like it. That's making me uncomfortable. I prefer to be stuck in my 9 to 5 and not dare anything, or like go back to my avoidant patterns and not experience true love. Whatever it is that you are going through in this process of like, oh my God, it's this new relationship I'm so excited about. Oh my God, it's this new project I'm so excited about. Oh my God, it's this new. And so what is incredibly important for you, where you have to be radically honest with yourself, and I think is one of the number one things that is keeping you stuck as a manifesting generator, is, are you stopping what you started? Are you moving back? Are you exiting? Are you like avoiding the thing? Because it is uncomfortable and is asking you to grow, and you have to like create new beliefs about yourself. You need to let go of like mindset. You need to train your nervous system to be vibrating a different frequency to sustain whatever expansion is coming towards you. Is it something that is actually requiring you for growth and uncomfortableness and getting out of your comfort zone? And it's gonna be like, a little shitstorm that is gonna get brighter at the end of the day, because you know that this is what is required of you to become the person that you wanna be and live the life that you aspire to have? Or is it truly something that's draining you and you just don't want to do it anymore and you're done with it? This is going like becoming a beast, becoming disgustingly educated on understanding what of these two is happening in your life is going to be one of the most important things that you need to learn as a tool, as a manifesting generator, to know if you should continue to pursue something or it's time to switch boards. You can delegate. If it's a project and it's making you money and it's a business and you're kind of tired of doing X, Y, and Z in your business, delegate, hire somebody, continue to make that money, start a new project, start a new thingy, whatever. That can be there, right? Be smart about how you're managing your life. Be smart. And so this is going to be incredibly important. And last but not least, as a manifesting generator, there's something that you just need to understand. And that is that the most authentic, wild, grounded version of self is freaking raw dogging life. You go through life without any kind of protection. You're going to experience life on bare flesh. There is an intensity, there is a devotion, there is like this powerful energy of the heart that wants to be juiced and maxed out in this lifetime for every single manifesting generator I have ever met. Specifically, if you're a woman. The way that women are raw dogging life as manifesting generators, I am in freaking awe. I'm like, you are crazy insane, and I love you for it. The intensity, the passion, the love, the rawness, the vulnerability, the tears, the fire, the sexiness, the tenderness, like the full spectrum of an aligned manifesting generator being in this divine yin yang energy between feminine and masculine. If you're a woman, don't let none of these like, you have to be a feminine. No, don't let any of these like feminine energy coaches make you passive. We can all be receiving, right? But you still have this very dominant, masculine, boyish, tomboyish vibe to you that is good for you to inhabit. It's interesting because I haven't checked Zendaya's, the actress, I haven't checked Zendaya's human design yet. I will though. But what come to mind was that I was listening to a Twitch live stream by one of my favorite creators, Anna Christina. She came up with the whole idea of black cat, golden retriever. And she was talking about how Zendaya has this very feminine essence, but then sometimes she's also in an interview very boyish, right? And we see her in Euphoria, she's very tomboyish, wearing a lot of masculine boy clothes. And then we see her on the Odyssey premiere and she's wearing these goddesses dress with the goddess feminine hair, and she can totally embody both. And I'm I have the feeling Zendaya must be a manifesting generator because I feel like she embodies this intensity as well, right? We can see her having this very strong aura. So I need to double check on that. Would be so embarrassing. And I'm no, actually, she's a projector, which I really, really, really don't think. I think Tom could, I think her husband might be, although could also be a manifest. I don't know. I need to check. I'm going to check their compatibility and I will share it on my social media. Anyways, you're here to raw dog life, my beautiful manifesting generator. Be strict with yourself and your mental chatter. Don't let shit get to you. Have emotional sovereignty. Put your soul and your heart first, and you will notice how life will completely change when you don't let anybody fuck with your energy and you stand your ground and you defend what you are passionate about, because you are a trailblazer who's not here to ask for permission, but is actually to lead the way into doing things completely different. And for that, you gotta grow some ovaries. And for that, you gotta have some BOLLS. Balls. Okay, so my beautiful manifesting generator, I hope this video served you. Let me know in the comments any doubts that you have, if you want me to go more in detail in any of the specific things. Share this with your community. Again, it means the world to me if you reach out to me. If anything of what I said sparked interest in you or helped you in any way, please reach out. It fills my heart. It keeps me motivated to show up here every single Sunday and deliver some energetic truth right into your subscription. And remember, I don't care what anybody says. I love you.